Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to show you how to quickly set up your first HTML website project. Before we get into this video, please support the channel by hitting that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video, and I post videos like this on a daily basis. Okay, let's get into this video. So what you're gonna need to do is first go to your desktop. Create a new folder. This folder will hold all your project files. Inside that folder, create 3 separate subfolders. You're going to name the first one CSS for all your style sheets. Then you're going to name the second one IMG for all your images. Then the last one, you name it JS for all your JavaScript files. So it helps to keep the files organized, to make sure you can navigate through the different files within your project. Okay, after you are done, head over back to Microsoft Visual Code and click File. You have new file, new window. What you're gonna need to do is click Open Folder. Then a pop-up will appear. Just go to the desktop and double click the folder you just created and click Select Folder. What will happen is Visual Code will load all your subfolders, or will open that project folder and select it as your main project that you'll be working on inside the Visual Code. So as you can see, I've named mine HTML setup. So HTML, this is the name of my folder on my desktop. Then this is the 3 subfolders we just created. The IMG for images, CSS for images, CSS files, then the JS for our JavaScript files. So firstly, just click under the JS, click right click and create new file. This is the home page of our website, and according to HTML rules, we always name the home page index.html. So let's name our folder or our file index.html and press enter. As you can see, we have this index.html file. Then to quickly generate the body or the default HTML body, just type HT, and as you can see, Microsoft Visual Code will give us a pop-up trying to figure out what you are trying. It's called IntelliSense. It helps us with coding. So just click this HTML5 and Visual Studio Code will generate a template for you. And inside the title, you can just delete the document and put the title of your home page. You can just put home if it's the home page. If it's the contact page, just type contact on the title. Click Ctrl S, save, and you're gonna need to create 2 separate files. This one was the main web page where you're gonna write our HTML. Then we need a second file where you're gonna style with this HTML, which is called a CSS style sheet. So left click the CSS folder. As you can see, it will be highlighted in a bluish depending on the theme you're using on your Microsoft Visual Code. Then click this triangle so that it faces down. Then right click the CSS folder and just click new file. It will create a new file inside that CSS folder, and let's name this one style.css and then press enter. Then you do the same thing, click this triangle and then highlight the JavaScript JS folder, or you can use this shortcut to create a new file and type app.js. So if you go back to the folders on our desktop, you can see our index.html. It has a Google Chrome icon, which is my default browser. Then if you go inside CSS folder, you will see the style.css, the style sheet we just created. Hit back and go to JS folder. You can see our app.js file is there. So we have created all the files we need. One for HTML, one for CSS, and one for JavaScript. Then let's just type a little bit of hello world. So let's go back to HTML. So what I always like to do in order to increase my workflow is to close the style here into the JavaScript here and right click the style.css file and click open to the side. What this does is shows the HTML file and the CSS file side by side, so that I don't have to switch between tabs when I'm writing my code. I can just switch with the mouse click. Now I'm typing my CSS and now I'm typing my HTML. It's that quick, guys. Let's just quickly erase this. So inside our body, let's just type, let's create a division, a div. So you can just type div and hit tab. It will generate an opening and closing tag with the div tag. Then press enter, create a space between. Then let's create another tag in h1 tag. And again, just type h1 and hit the tab on your keyboard. It will generate the open and closing tags. And let's just type hello world and hit Ctrl S. It's a shortcut for save or file and save. As you can see, it's CTRL-S, Ctrl-S on Windows. Quickly save your files. Then in order to free up this space on the left side, just click this Explorer icon. It will hide your files or your folder list and files and give you extra space to work with. And then I will just adjust because I know HTML. There's a little bit of space as compared to CSS. Then before you minimize this, click it again. You have two ways of seeing your results of the code or of the page you just created. The first way is to go back to the folder and open this file by just double clicking it. So let's do that. Let's double click this file. It will open, and here as you can see, our hello world opened. Then, but if you use this method, if you go here, you go back to Visual Code, hello, welcome to name tag dev channel and put a full stop. If you hit Ctrl save to save, and if you want to see these changes you've made, let's go back. As you can see, you will not immediately see your changes, but you have to refresh the page and then the page will be updated with your new updates. So if you go back to Visual Studio Code and delete the changes you just made, in order to see them again, hit Ctrl save to save. In order to see them again, you have to restart, or I'm sorry, you have to refresh the page and then it will be updated. So this is the most basic way of seeing the results of your HTML web pages. However, if you close this page, let's head over back to Visual Code. If you go to this icon, extensions, then I'm offline right now, but if you're online, you just search for in extension code. Okay, here's a list of all the extension I've installed. I want you to search the one that is called Livesaver. This one. If you just type Livesaver here and download this with this icon and enable it, what this does is, if you go back to your file explorer, if you right click the index.html file and click open with Livesaver, it will start a portable server and it will go and open Google Chrome for you, and then it will type hello world. Okay, so this now allows you to edit and see the new results, the new updated results of your web page in real time. So if you just type in S and if it Control save, it will automatically refresh this page and update this page with your new updates. So if you have two monitors, or if you are viewing your Visual Code side by side with the Google Chrome page you are designing, you can just head over to Visual Studio, and then you can type whatever you want to type or design or create a title. If you save, Google Chrome will automatically refresh and update and show you the new title you just created. So this is a faster way, especially if you have two monitors. You can have one monitor with all your Visual Code, all your files, all your CSS, all your HTML, then another monitor with Google Chrome opened, where you can just see the results of your design in real time. So that's what I want to show you for you guys today. And before I end this video, let me just write a bit of CSS to send that the HTML will load. Okay, so let's jump back to Visual Code. Let's close this. Let's go back to HTML. So go back to the site. As you can see, I want to start with this hello world and put it in the center. So I'm just going to target this div, this container, and center everything inside this div to the center. So in order to do that, I can just do text align. First, you need to target what you want to. So I'm targeting the div. So every CSS code that I'm going to write inside this is going to affect the div tag. So I want to text align everything to the center. Save, and let me save this again, and then align items. And okay guys, as you can see, let me back to Visual Code. I've justified my content to be flexible, and I've centered it so that this hello will be displayed at the center of the web page. But if you go back to our preview, hello is still stuck at the top left corner. Why is that? Well, it's because in HTML you can manipulate content, or you can style your designs in two ways. Either you can open your style sheet, open and close tag under the title. You can just open. This keyboard is killing me. So let's head over. Under the title, inside the head tag, you can write your CSS here. You will display flags and justify content to the sender. You can manipulate everything inside this body of the HTML, inside this style sheet on the same page. But however, if you get into like real world situations, you're gonna find out that you're gonna write a lot of HTML, and then you're gonna write a lot of CSS. So to have everything inside this one page, you when it comes to maintaining and updating stuff, you have a time going or scanning through lines to find the specific part you want to edit. So it's always cleaner to have a separate file for CSS, just like as we did here. But everything I write here is not going to affect our load. Why? Because I haven't linked this external CSS file yet. So in order to do that, let's just press enter under the tile, and you're gonna use a link tag, and just type link and press tab, and a link tag will be generated for you. And inside the href, just type CSS. As you can see, Visual Code, it gives us this pop-up. You can just click CSS, the folder you've created and the file you've created, the style.css, and then you can just save. Now if we jump back, you can see now our hello world is now centered. Why? Because now this external CSS file is linked to this HTML page using this link tag. So that's all for today. I don't want to get into deep because this is just a setup. And yes, we've created this app.js, and the rules are when you open a web page, the browser will read everything from the top to bottom. So in order to optimize speed, in order to make sure our pages load faster, always link the style sheet at the top. Why? Because we don't want our website to appear ugly without our style sheets, then style afterwards is too bad for the viewers. So link the style sheet first, so that when the content below it is loaded, it will be loaded with the specific CSS features you've created. For in this case, we specified that this load should be centered. So if you load the style sheet first, and then the load after the load, the load, the h1 tag will take the properties we've specified inside our div properties in this CSS style sheet file. So for JavaScript, we write that we link our JavaScript files at the bottom just before the closing body tag. Why? Because JavaScript, sometimes if you have a lot of coding lines, in order to make sure our websites are faster, we write JavaScript at the bottom so that the JavaScript code will be loaded last, after everything, all the visuals, after our viewers have already done seeing the results of the page, before they get before they start to interact with. For example, if you go to facebook.com, you're gonna be presented with the design of their login page before they even load the functionality of that login page in the background. So most of the JavaScript functionalities our users are not going to be able to see. It is going to run in the background. So there's no need to run that first and then display what our viewers actually want to see. So it's better to present our results first, and then whatever that is running on the background, we can load that last in order to optimize speed for our website. Okay, so there are two ways of writing JavaScript files. The first is opening the script tag. As you can see, and then press enter. So we can write our JavaScript code here, then it will be loaded, and our pages will be loaded. So this is the first way to do it, the easiest way. But again, in real world situations, or if you want to create like a full, maybe multi-section web page, then you're gonna find out you're gonna write a lot of HTML, a lot of CSS, and a lot of JavaScript to edit the functionalities you want. And if you have all of that code inside this one page, it will give you a lot of headache, especially when you want to maneuver between different sections. You know, if you want to edit stuff, make things smaller, bigger, get the JavaScript functionalities. So it's always cleaner again and easier for maintenance to separate our code. We have a separate JavaScript file and then a separate CSS file. So in order to link our external like this app.js, we open and close this script tag like this. But just before this, in our open script, you can just click space after the T and write src for source, and then source is equals to, then inside this double quotes is where we write js, which is the folder, this folder we've created, and then a forward slash, and then the app.js you just created, and then save. So If you write this simple line, you have successfully linked your JavaScript file, external file, this one, and this is your CSS external files. So you can just open this file and write your code here, and it will work with everything that is inside your main HTML file. Why? Because this style sheet page and this JavaScript page are both linked or referenced in the main HTML files. If you forget to link the CSS and link the JavaScript pages, external pages, everything you write inside the app.js and CSS is not going to be applied to whatever you write inside this body of the HTML code. Why? Was you haven't referenced everything yet. So today we are going to end the video here. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like and the subscribe button, and please make sure to leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you.